Thank y'all for tuning in. Finally, we are back after a long break. Just the things to know, how we got here. Y'all never know,
It's
but we
just
finally back.
regular 2020 stuff. Not that nothing else happened before then. Just good old regular 2020 stuff.
Classic Epiphany Media,
Yeah,
as
oh man.
always.
Classic Epiphany Media is right.
Hmm.
So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and share. I'm not gonna make a watch party, but I'm gonna share the link out
Oh yeah,
officially.
it's the ritual. Do that before my phone die. Oh, whoa! Can't bring bad juju.
That's what will be happening. You be sending that bad stuff out there into the air, man.
So at this point, we know what the problem was. Um, so now we fixed it. So those who tuned in before, we all good now. But we probably lost y'all because
Yeah. People
was
like,
having problems.
people like,
But
man,
the
no
show
way
must
I'm
go
doing it
on.
again. Oh no, we got Erica to come back. Top fan Angels is in here.
Yeah, all top fans.
Uh,
You know what? I wanna make sure you straight. Hold on.
okay. Well, sure they'll let us know if we messing up. All right. Well, being that we're super late, we're gonna dive right into our topic for today, which is we good before we dive into the topic. Nobody say nothing. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we good.
I
Like
feel like we good, but I just want to make sure.
I just want to work on your voice though. Like it just sounds weird. Like, I gotta figure out. I just want your voice to sound
What?
crispy as possible.
Well, maybe I'll talk like this. I'll talk like Jamie Foxx talking to his microphone on his radio show.
Yeah. Ladies watching.
And when you do that, then you just gotta turn the mic volume up because I'll just stay at
Yeah.
this level for the entire show, which is not a bad
Yeah.
thing. But gotta turn your head to the sideways the entire day, just kind of like an idiot.
Yeah. But happy 2020 to everybody out there.
Erica, officially, happy New Year and welcome to 2020. I know the day is late, but whatever.
I mean, a lot of people didn't make it to 2020, but I'm glad y'all made it to 2020 so y'all can enjoy another season of Epiphany Media content. So while I'm at it, we added the podcast aspect to the show. So you know how when you're watching Facebook and we see y'all tuning in and then y'all tune out, then y'all tune back in. You don't have to do that no more. Like then some of you got lives, you got stuff to do, but you can always come back to the podcast and listen at your own leisure and text while you listen and everything. So right now we're on Spotify. Within a week, we'll be on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, and we're at various other podcasting locations. So be sure to check us out. All you have to do is type in the search, go to the search bar and type in Epiphany Media. Also, be on the lookout for conversations with Ebony J. If you don't know, she started her own show at the beginning of December. It was. So be sure to check out the shows that she has up now. I think she has like 3 of them live, ready, recorded that you can listen to, and she'll be on the podcast soon. I think that's it.
I'm making this face because I hate the radio voice. I hate the fact that you gotta get real close and intimate.
We got we got the equipment.
Do the radio voice, but you gotta, talk like you telling a secret, but you're not.
Hey,
a secret is not a secret though, so you gotta whisper. But you gotta talk loud at the same time.
The mic pick up everything, so I don't even got a screen no more. I just talk with my regular voice. The mic, pick up everything. But I'm glad you guys are tuned in because we got a great show planned. As you can see, it's episode 60, and it's called "Should I Stay or Shall I Go Now?" Should I stay or shall I go now? Why would you stay? What would that explain to the people?
So this I thought about this topic. This is New Year's Day. After it was like released that in Cleveland, we had like I don't know if it was 12 deaths or 12 shootings.
13
people got shot or something. Like That's what it was. 13 people in a 12-hour period, like 12-hour block of time. You know what I'm saying? Um, which is crazy, right?
Very crazy.
Um, Combine that with the fact that you always hear people like, "Oh, um, I'm moving to Atlanta. I gotta get out of Cleveland. Like, it's crazy. I gotta get out of here." So it just made me think about like, and I'm not saying that bad stuff can't happen to everybody, but if you're from a certain area and you know the bad areas, then you would know to stay out of those areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do that, I take it back. So if you go to those areas and you know you're at a certain higher risk than other places,
Mm-hmm.
but if you live or you move to a different town or a different city where you are not aware of what areas are the bad areas, what areas are the good areas, or what time to go to a certain area, will you make a mistake and as you end up putting yourself in further harm's way,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to being, where you're supposed to be or where you used to be, where you're comfortable. Um, and this also kind of hits home to me because I'm looking for a house. So, do I get a house that's in Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do I get a house that's in Akron or Canton or Columbus? Like, saying, where do you look for houses or whatever? Like, do you stay in some place where like, well, Cleveland ain't the best or it's dangerous, whatever. But I know Friday night I shouldn't be on 55th and Woodland. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You just shouldn't be there.
Where shooting like just
It's every
happened.
day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
So
I mean, people shooting daylight, nighttime. They don't care.
every day,
Over
yeah.
there. But like you said, we from Cleveland. We know the areas where stuff go down.
Right. So even your town or city or wherever that you from or live, like whether it's dangerous or not, like would you so switch it up and not make it just about danger? Regina, what's going on? Switch it up and not even make it about danger. But let's say you like, all right, it ain't really that. I'm gonna stay in a smaller town. Ain't really that many opportunities work wise. All right, so now do I take the risk and move to somewhere that's bigger, where it's probably gonna be more opportunity, but might be a little bit more dangerous? Or do I stay where I'm at and be content? Like, so what do you do? Like, what's the balance? How you figure it out?
Are you asking me my opinion?
Well, yes, yes, nigga. Well, not even. Well, yes, I do want to know your opinion, but just in general of like how, like where do you, how do you stand on? What arguments can you make for either side of what I'm saying? So not necessarily where you got to say, this is my position, I stand on this position, but just where do you, what pros and cons to each do you think?
I mean, the pros are you get to start a new life. You get to live where you wanted to live because we were born here. We didn't have any choice, but I don't mean we have to stay here. Um, Another pro is you can get out of a crime-ridden city, um, which is a great thing. Um, Better opportunities, sunshine, like real weather, like a real weather city. You could be live in a city where it's never, you don't see any snow, never gets really cold. Like 60 is the lowest it gets, and 60 to you is like hot. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You won't have a gas, like really won't have a gas bill except for the hot water tank, really, and maybe the AC. Like that, man. The only con is family. That's it. And friends.
That's the only con?
The only con is family and friends. Like that. Like that's seriously the only con for me. Family and friends is the only con. And why I wouldn't go to move somewhere else. The only.
What about the actual argument I just made about you potentially moving to a city that you're not aware of? So look, first off,
but I'm not gonna move anywhere until I'm not aware of, and just because I would do my research before I move in and talk to locals to see their experiences with crime and stuff like that before I even move there. And the spot I'm talking about, like that I would move to that I'd never say on here because I'm gonna be like off the grid. I ain't gonna tell nobody. I'm just gonna be gone.
Y'all want to know where it is? I'll tell y'all.
They don't want to know, but
I'll tell you.
But like down there, or up there, or over there, whichever you want to call it. It's good. Like I literally asked. She was black. Black too. So she, and she was from a crime-ridden city. She was from like DC.
A crime-ridden city.
She was from DC. I asked her. I'm like, I know where you from. We from like people shooting all the time, out of death, like crime. I was like, what's the only crime here? She was like, somebody taking your bike. Like, I could live with that. Like I'm cool with I can get a lock. I can prevent that. Like it ain't gonna be nobody really trying to steal no bikes like that unless it's unlocked. And a lot of people don't lock their bikes. So I mean, down there. So
that's true. Ebony J joined us. Ashley, what's going on? Regina made a good point. She said, I do my research too. Some don't have the money to check it out though. So that's true. So the place you talking about, like, you've been there multiple times, you know what I'm saying? So you've had a chance to, so the first time you go to any place, for the most part, you go and you do your tourist thing, right? You go in all the tourist spots. When you've been there, 2 or 3 times or whatever, and then you start doing stuff like, oh, I want to do stuff that's off the beaten path. I want to find out like how it really is here. You go to dive bars that ain't like on Travelocity or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which I get it, which will help a lot. But that's a good point that Regina brought up, that people don't have money to go visit these places. Even if they did, you can't tell me you don't hear it all the time. Like I can't have the only high school where people like, man, I'm moving to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just moving to Atlanta. I'm like, some people down there or something? Like, no, I just you got to get out of Cleveland. Like it's crime in Atlanta. Like you know what I'm saying?
Like big crime.
Like it's like wherever you want to go to, it's big crime out there.
Pull up with a stick and let it hit is it's not just a song. Like it's how they live down here. Like
that's what I'm saying.
They serious about that. Hey, but moving to Atlanta, like Miami, LA, New York, like big cities, that people dream of, going to, because the big cities, big opportunity. Nah, I'm trying to stay away from each and every one of them cities because I know it's crime. Like if you got a hood rapper there, that tell you, what the hood is like, what's going on. You don't want to move there, like, because they know. Like, they telling you exactly what's going on, and they're not lying about what they talking about. Because you can go there, and you can see it for your own eyes.
And that's what I'm saying. Ebony J said she moving to Georgia. But that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that Georgia's not cool. If you just, what I'm saying, if your sole thing is like, I want to get away from the weather, cool, I get it, right? But like, if your thing is about crime or like Cleveland just don't get blah blah blah, you don't get X Y Z. You think Georgia do? Not attacking her, but she said Georgia. Like you think Florida do? You think LA do? Because just you're not the only person that think like that. So if everybody moving to Georgia, everybody moving to Atlanta, everybody moving to Miami, like you think it's gonna be easy? Not saying that you ain't special or whatever, but you think it's gonna be easy for you to make it when everybody is thinking like you? Everybody moving to New York to make it? Everybody going to LA to be an actor?
You're not gonna have money to be able to live in nice spots. You're trying to chase your dream.
Yeah, you about to live.
You're gonna have to live in an urban area.
Exactly.
Unless you, I don't know, got some money from, I don't know, unless your job paying you.
Well,
somewhere to stay.
Moving for work is way different.
Yeah,
that's a way different thing. But when you talk about moving to chase your dream, even if your dream is just better opportunity, that means you don't have opportunity where you at, which means not saying you don't have money, but you don't have enough money. And specifically people that's moving from Cleveland to these other cities where people like, oh, I saved up this amount of money. Like, yeah, in Cleveland, that's a good amount of money. When you get to Miami, that's not that much money. When you get to LA or New York or Chicago, that's not that much money. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, if you just moving for weather, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do the snow, I can't do the cold no more. So I'm getting out of here before that. Cool. But you saying that like Cleveland is just too dangerous. It's the most dangerous city, and all this stuff happens. Trust me, it happens in those towns too.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you don't hear about it is because you don't have Atlanta local news like you got Fox 8 and Channel 5 and stuff there. Mm-hmm. Even with all the research you can do, when you look at houses, they got these things where you can check the crime in the neighborhood and stuff. But until you go there and actually get a feel for the neighborhood or talk to people, like you said, you still can't really know. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. When you go somewhere, you think, when you go on vacation, I'm sure you had that feeling like, I want to move here. But before you do that, turn on the news and see what's going on. And you will see exactly how the crime is. People get murdered out there. People get their houses broken into. Same thing is here. But at the same time, most people from Cleveland, they move to a suburb like Shaker, Maple, or people, people on the down the way, uptown, they move over there. People, people from up the way move to Euclid or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you still not you still not out the hood because everybody from the hood, they move out there. Like you have to, you got to go far, like to Lake County, like Westlake, or not Lorraine.
Yeah, not Lorraine because you went too far west, and now you're in the middle of the hood again.
Right.
But right. That's what I'm saying. So you got to go to Menor or Painesville. Not even that. Like, you got to go way out to not even Geneva. Like that's too far east. Like you got to come back a little bit or go way further out. But then, like, in between Geneva, Ohio, and Erie, Pennsylvania, you got, like, a little area where it's cool. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so you're not the only person that's thinking like that. So, clearly there's going to be other people that's going to be there in the same situation as you or thinking the same way as you. And that's going to also bring bad people with them. Mm-hmm. Just like when they tore down, like, the project, like Garden Valley projects, right? Mm-hmm. And they just move. So you spread all these people out, and then you move people from different neighborhoods into one neighborhood now. What do you think gonna happen then? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing. It's just on a bigger scale when you're moving from city to city instead of like different neighborhoods in one city.
Like if you gonna move, like don't move to a metropolitan area. Like move to a place where you can start a family or too, where y'all can be safe. Because I mean, just think about it. In your home city, right now, let's say you live in a big city like Chicago. You know what parts of Chicago is good. You know what parts is bad.
You know what time of day you can go to those parts. You know what time of day you can't go to those parts.
But when you move to another city, it's like you don't know.
You don't know So that's my whole reason for asking. Like, so would you risk? And I'm assuming by the comments that some people will risk just leaving something that they're aware of. Mm-hmm. No matter how dangerous it is, if you know, like, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I ain't going over there, or it's 3 a.m., I ain't going nowhere because of whatever, then compared to like, oh, this is Georgia, like, it got to be cool, like, you know what I'm saying, no snow outside, so I could walk up the street and get some chicken, and then you get took or something.
I remember going to my family reunion, and down in Tennessee, it was a city I never heard of. Goes country, like nothing really there. So I'm talking to my cousin, and she's like, come out and kick it. Go out, kick it, go to the bars or whatever. Mine used the country, so their bars don't look like nothing. I'm thinking, nothing going on. But as the night progressed, I'm like, a little bit more different than I thought.
It's a little bit more love.
So I'm thinking like, you can have your sounds on, round by the cops. Like they don't care up here. You getting a misdemeanor ticket easy. Like, man, it's sweet down here. So we get to the bar and like it was like some other guy there, and it was like, and my cousin was like, man, like, he just lost his sister last week. We was at the bar and somebody came shooting an AK. I'm like, around here? Like that's when I'm like, oh, the Cleveland kicked in. Like, I'm sorry.
You ain't safe no more.
Like then my perspective changed. Like, hold on. Like then I start like, okay, yeah.
And you start peeping the stuff that you should have been paying attention to
Yeah,
on vacation.
yeah,
like,
but you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's my answer. So let me jump to the comments. So Angel said, living south would be nice. Said she'd pick a small town and enjoy the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty much what he just said.
Maybe
so
good.
Maybe
not.
Well, he just said small town too, but he said if you are going to move out of a metropolitan, I can deal with that. Regina said, I live in a smaller town versus Cleveland, but we definitely have crime and drugs like everyone else in spots. I'm finally in a better neighborhood, which is good. Andrew said, "Do you still live around 40?" I don't know what that means. Andrew said, "Crazy stuff still happens in small towns. For sure they do. That's what I'm saying. Like, so it happened everywhere. So if you're escaping because you be like, man, Cleveland is just crazy. Like, so is everywhere else. So you just don't hear about it because you're not in those towns daily.
Especially like rural areas where like meth and like,
heroin
is like running crazy.
Or cops lying on black people like, oh, a black guy shot me, but I shot myself. That happened in small town south. Regina said, replying to Angel, yes, she still stay around 40. I don't know what that means, but she do. 3 teenage punks broke into my garage 3 years ago and ripped off my freezer and stuff in my car. I just had chemo and was sick in bed. One of the kids even knew us. I'm still pissed over that. So that's the thing you got to watch about small towns, that because it's a small town, everybody know that, oh, she's sick or whatever. So you're saying gonna be able to defend herself, or she's gonna be sick or at home not doing nothing, whatever. So then they can push you over. That's something too.
Living in a city like Cleveland, that's when it you're not gonna lose your street smarts. They should be with you at all times.
That's true.
No matter where you are,
Just like that lady in Maple Heights that she got her car took by two young dudes.
I've seen the video.
And she was on her way to chemo or something like that, or dialysis. She was on her way to dialysis, and they she was getting out of her car. They pulled her out, punched her in the face. Got in the car, couldn't start the car because they're young or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if you don't show us how to start the car, we're gonna shoot you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And look, so for those of you who don't know, the Maple Heights, that happened 2 blocks from the police station. You know what I'm saying? 2 blocks from Maple Heights police station. Maple Heights is a pretty decent neighborhood for the most part. It's decent for the most part, but the hood is 4 blocks the other way.
Right. The hood is 4 blocks the other way, but Maple went through some things. I ain't even gonna talk about it on air. There's no need to.
You don't gotta tell me.
But Maple then turned into like a danger zone because of certain things.
Right.
It's in the paper. I could say it. You know what? It was in the paper, so I'm gonna say it. So, they call people from El Chapo's cartel. They was living in Maple. So that's all I gotta say about it. So you can connect the dots of what had happened, and so that's why Maple out of control right now.
So let's see. So Andrew said, "I would hate living in a spot where you know for sure you wouldn't be or you shouldn't be there." Right, but that's what I'm saying. So if you're from out of town and you don't know, all you can look and see like, oh, it's a lot of crime or it's a little bit of crime in this area, but that don't mean that once you get there that crime won't be there. Like you'll be just timing or anything, but then you still won't know. Like you'll be like, oh, it's noon, so that should be cool, but that's the most dangerous part of the town. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like who knows? So Regina said, shout out to Virginia. She said, Angel, I have helped that kid since he was in the 4th or 5th grade. Yes, definitely. Regina said to Angel, if I had been awake, I know one of us wouldn't have walked away. I don't know. So it's probably good that you was in bed sick then. And possession stuff can be returned or whatever. Angel said that carjacking video was sad and real estate prices are lower. Maple are lower. For sure they are. And now you know why.
Yeah.
Now you know why. But yeah, so it's just I don't know, man. So no matter where you at, like it can always be some bad stuff around the corner. So what do you do though? Like, so what do you? So would you had? So clearly, we already said you would do your research before you go. If you got a chance to visit, you would visit to get a vibe of the town or whatever. So what if you can't do that? You still making a move?
But if you can't visit, but they still have public data online. You can literally look up all the crime that happened in that past year, and like street by street, block by block, and tell you like what type of crime, um, and everything. So that's another thing.
That's true. No, research is definitely a thing that you do. You know what I'm saying?
But then it's like, okay, you researched this area, crime really isn't bad, and then you go there and like somebody say you wearing the wrong color or some shit. Like,
oh, I didn't even know. I'm from out of town. Oh, you from out of town? Okay.
Every city is different, like, and you can't underestimate any city.
That's what I'm saying.
Because people can come to that city
and be just like you,
yeah.
looking for a better opportunity, and bring their cousins with them, or bring their super bad kids with them, or whatever. And now that crime just followed you because people was thinking the exact same way you are. Emily just said, "I'm not moving because of crime. I'm moving because of weather, change, and opportunities." She said, "Why do you think it's different to move for a job?" Because one, you moving for a job. I'm not saying just because you're moving for a job that you're going to be staying in the best neighborhoods, but if they're going to, typically, if you're moving for a job, that means they get some kind of relocation stipend that they're giving you, like to be able to find a house or find a living place, even if it's an apartment or whatever. So you can take what they're going to give you for finding a house, finding residencies in whatever new city, along with your money, and you can potentially move into a better neighborhood. Like you get access to better places. Where if you was down on your luck or just trying to make it or whatever, or thinking, like I said, I saved up X amount of money, which in Cleveland is a good amount of money. When you go to these bigger cities, like that money don't mean nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So because of that, if you got a company that's also helping you, that's also giving you money, and it's not just your own cash, then it makes it easier on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by it being different.
Right.
You know, so you got an opportunity to be in a better situation. Not saying it's gonna be great. I'm not saying that it won't be in a bad neighborhood, but you got an opportunity for it to be in a better place.
Like I'm sure, like for example, NBA players and athletes, NFL, whatever, when they get traded or they come to town, it's people with the team that say, look, we should just you stand in this area as the safest crime rates, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure with these companies, they tell you the same thing. Like, most people stay in this area because it's safe. You don't have to worry about any crime. And they got, you got somebody to tell you what's up. But let's say, like, you know what? I need to hurry up and get out of Cleveland. Like, if I feel in danger or I just need to hurry up and get my family out. And you just move just because this is what you can afford. And usually, if you don't have a lot of money, what you can afford, you're going to be staying in an area that's, still full of crime. Like how, Tupac moved from D.C. To Oakland.
Yeah.
And, he went from bad to worse.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
And on the other side of the country, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
didn't know, like, first day, what do you say? First day that was there, you see somebody, get killed. So.
Yeah. Which is crazy. So. Regina said, I agree. I was meant to not. She agreed that it was meant for it not to be awake. There are some people that are just looking for trouble, though, for sure. Absolutely. Especially in a small town where everybody kind of know you, where everybody kind of know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that, so right. So if you would do something in a small town. You know what I'm saying? Like, where stuff like that can happen in a small town. Of course, it can happen in bigger cities, but that means it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's what people say. Anything can happen anywhere, but less of it happens in certain places. But
maybe I agree with that to an extent. But if it happens, but you are aware of how it happens or when it happens or whatever, then you can kind of adjust or whatever. You can know, like, they still, like, when I went to school in Connecticut, around that time, somebody had like released and made copies of the master key for like all Hondas. Master key. So whatever Honda you had between like it was like a 15-year span, that key worked for every Honda. So people just walking up and getting in cars and nobody would think twice because it's a key. Like you got a key, you walked up and started it. Like yeah, the hot wire, no weird stuff. Like so if I moved to Connecticut and didn't know that, I'm like, oh nigga, I got me a new Honda, or I brought my Honda with me, none the wiser. Like I wouldn't know. But if I get there, I'm like, damn, I gotta buy a car. I wouldn't be buying no Honda if niggas walking around with a master key because like because you're from that area. But if you didn't know, we actually had to do it at the school, get his car took because he didn't know. Like out the school parking lot, like out the dorm parking lot.
Like no alarm went off on the car or nothing.
No, he just walked over with a key. And even if sometimes when your alarm started to go off and you just you put the key, you turn the ignition and it cut off. But nobody even thought twice.
What about all right? So when you moved out there to go to college at UConn, UConn, right? Like what did they tell you about the crime around there? Did anybody tell you?
Look, all right. So look, this is how I found about the crime in Connecticut, in Hartford. All right, so I went on my visit, and so clearly on the official visit, they teach you. They wanted to show you the best parts. Oh man, these dorms, like the athletes' dorms are on this side, and the athletes' dorms only face towards downtown, so it's always a good view, always nice view. The freeway is right here. You know what I'm saying? It's a club right here. You know what I'm saying? Like all this, they only show you all the great stuff when you on like official visits. And this was at a time where internet wasn't as easy to look up stuff. I felt old saying that, but this wasn't a time where it was like easy to look up stuff. So I think this is how I found out about the crime. So I had already said I'm gonna go to school out there, moved out there, and on like the second day I linked up with some the first day I linked up with some other people that's from Ohio, so it was cool. And then I was like, yeah, it's a liquor store a couple of blocks away. I'm like, cool, we'll go get some drinks or whatever. So we leaving, and so we come out the back way of the dorms, and you got the parking lot, so that part cool. When you get to the street, and I mean the street behind the dorms, it looks like every project ever, right? There's people sitting outside on crates. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the steel grates, not steel bars, but like the grates on the window, so people can't even throw rocks through the window. Like
you can't even see in those windows.
No, you can't. And so I'm walking around, I'm looking like, what? So not only did I have two preconceived notions. I mean, one, this Connecticut. Like, ain't no hoods in Connecticut, ain't no hoods in Hartford.
Right.
And I'm like, this nigga sitting outside on crates, like
in Connecticut.
In Connecticut. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they regular, like they in jeans and white tees, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it looked just like any other projects. So we just walking, and the liquor store like 1 block away on the other end of the street or whatever. So it's a normal hood. It's a normal hood, everyday Cleveland hood behind the dorms. Everything in front of the hood is great though. It's like it's a skyscraper right across the street. It's like an insurance company and offices. Everything behind it though, I promise you, to this day, y'all ever want to go on a visit with me to Connecticut, I'll show you the dorms. I'll show you how great downtown looks. And you only probably, which I should have known from Cleveland, like you only like 20 blocks from downtown. So you should know that when you get to a certain point, then it turns to the hood, and then you go further, you get turned to the suburbs. I wasn't thinking about it, I guess. I don't know what happened. And
I mean, coming from Cleveland, like nothing is like hooded in Cleveland.
Well, right. So it wasn't that I wasn't used to, but I was like, in Connecticut?
You never heard nobody say they was from Connecticut. Like, nah.
Exactly.
Never.
And why is that? Because I'm not from Connecticut. Like, I didn't move out. I didn't grow up out there. I don't know nobody out there. So if I was just to pack my stuff and move to Connecticut, I wouldn't even be none of the wiser to the stuff that go on out there. I wasn't surprised. So when I seen, I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with this situation. But I still was like, in Connecticut, in Hartford, Connecticut, like no way, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. We way back in the way back in the comment. Let me jump in these real quick. So Angel said it makes sense to move for work or even just for a new start. You don't like to move again. Where are you getting this money from? Who is giving you the money to just keep moving like that? People can't move in their own towns and cities, let alone to keep jumping from city to city. Who's giving you this money? For work, like I said, it's different. Ebony J said in most cases, they have a location specialist, but that's mainly it. For a regular job, you rarely get stipend. I agree. But even, I mean, it just depends. It all depends on the company. Because even like a company like Sherwin-Williams, which is a giant company, if you're not even higher up in the rankings, but you want to transfer to a different position that you're qualified for and that's an open position, whether it's in this country or like in a different country, they'll give you a stipend. It just depends on what company you work for.
And that's a worldwide company. I can't imagine they say like come to the Bahamas and we're not going to like provide you a stipend for housing.
I know plenty of people that I work with, and I only worked there maybe a year and a half or something. That like moved to Germany, like just because they got openness.
Especially if you're single, then it's like why not? Why going to the UK? They speak English. I speak English. Like experience, like make money, then making euros, making more, making more money. Then you just come back.
You come back. You're right. Angel said your words would tell me you should always be aware. Doesn't matter. Don't be comfortable. I agree. That don't mean it happens, but that's absolutely should be the mind state. And if you live in a place where you're not mentally comfortable, then you definitely should move. I know it ain't as simple as just saying I got to get up and move, but that's what you should be working toward. If you can't even rest in your own house, then you really got trouble.
What comment you
on? Ebony J said, Angel Jewel, right? If it don't work, I'll be back. Which is cool. Like I'm not saying don't do it if you can't do it, but like it just costs to do that. That's what I'm saying. Angel said, I not only support you, but I might come with serious note. My job is what keeps me where I am. Your mom said, hello, I'm back. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Mom.
Happy New Year.
Ebony said, colleges are typically in the hood or downtown, super high crime. And we had a nigga get robbed. The first weekend we was there, we walked downtown to a club or like a bar club. It was like a club or something. And we walking by, and everybody walking in groups except for one dude, and then he ended up getting robbed. Probably shouldn't walk by yourself. He's from St. Louis too.
I know somebody that got robbed in Toledo, walking back from the bar.
Yeah, it's just happened anywhere. And this was on the good side. This is like going towards downtown, but it was like train tracks, like a bridge, and it was like I swear it's like a video game or a movie. All right, so it's like the lights on, but it's like old or whatever. So like they flash or whatever. So you got so it'd be on for probably like 45 seconds. Like then they flash off for like 5 seconds. And they come back on, they'd be on for like 15 seconds, then they're off for like 3 seconds. Like I'm saying, then they on for like a minute. And they go, there's like a cycle.
Oh, that's weird.
It was super weird. Like it was like a video game. But I don't care who you is, if you walking with 8 people, chances are you, I went on the next one. And that's what we did. We walked in a big group. He was the only one that did. We was like, we leaving. He's like, man, I'm staying. Like, dog, we leaving though. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, man, whatever you want to do. And he ended up getting robbed. We found out like that morning, getting ready for class. Ebony said, it would be different for me because I'm going to have licenses in both state and office telehealth video, so I won't miss a beat. Well, good. That's fine. You talking about work though. That's why I said work is the exception. Work is always the exception because you're moving for money, for opportunity. Like you actually have work. You know what I'm saying?
And the job that's gonna move you, like they obviously probably paying you enough where you can get a nice place to stay.
Right. Like you ain't applying on Indeed like as you move out there in the hopes of getting a job. Like so you moving for work or to work or opportunities like that, that's completely different. Ebony said Angel said to Ebony that my job just recently started teledoc for mental behavioral health with a cool benefit. Ebony said Youngstown State was the same.
Youngstown.
Wow. Youngstown State is in the hood, but the only difference is like it's the hood everywhere.
Yeah, the whole city the hood.
Like if you, as soon as you like Youngstown State is nice, right?
Mhm.
It's actually a pretty nice. I don't know about the school, but like the campus area is nice.
Mhm.
As soon as you leave off that campus, though, you like nigga, what is this? Like what is this?
Like it's not just it's a different hood down there. Like
And it's weird. It's weird, and right on the border. It's kind of like a Toledo type vibe, like where everybody kind of from everywhere because you're right on the border.
mm-hmm.
And it's the hood immediately when you step off campus.
Everywhere.
Like at least the hood in Connecticut was one way. It was like behind the school. But nigga, that in Youngstown is every direction as soon as you step off of campus.
Like, I remember I went down there one time. I'm looking around like damn, like, it's looking kind of rough. Youngstown. And then once you find out the history, then you're like, oh.
Okay, I get it. The mob came in and raped everything.
Yeah.
Angel said, I'm resourceful with my money. You already know that. Not everybody is, though. Ebony J said, our first day at Youngstown State, we go to McDonald's and found out the YO was the murder capital. The murder capital of what?
Yeah, the world. No, not the world, but USA. Like down there, like somebody was like somebody I know was in the like it was in the jail down there, prison, and they said every night, well every morning, read the paper, somebody was dying, like every day.
Somebody was dying or getting killed.
Like getting killed. That's what I meant to say. Murdered. Like, I'm telling you, Youngstown get it in. Like it sounds weird, right? But Youngstown get it in. Black,
no.
and white.
Tell you, all these border towns, any of these border towns, Youngstown, Toledo's, where it's in Ohio specifically, like they each got just some wild stuff going on. Like Toledo is like the trafficking capital of the country or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for the same reason that the mob used Toledo, the same reason the mob used Youngstown to move their drugs and stuff. It's halfway, or not halfway. It's in between. It's in the middle. Like Toledo is in the middle of Detroit, Chicago, and Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Three big cities. Toledo right in the middle. That's a good spot to break off and go different routes, whatever. The same way with Youngstown. It's between. It's like some capital south. I forgot, like in Kentucky or West Virginia, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. It's right on the border of town. You don't got to go too far. You can make trade off of drugs or whatever. Then you can just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, all the border towns are like bad for, or you know, what I'm saying they always got weird stuff going on for the same reasons that everything else does. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that was.
Yeah, Youngstown. You go to Pittsburgh. You can go to Cincinnati, Columbus.
Right, that's right.
So all the big cities.
All them border towns like that.
Yeah, Youngstown,
the murder capital of the world.
I went to a bar there, and we in a bar, and there really wasn't nobody in there, So I get my drink, but I know this is like some guy sitting on the side. But he just sitting there watching everything, but he wasn't drinking though. And I look at me. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be time to get up out of here in a minute.
See, I like that skill. By the way, hold on. Before I tell that story, Angel said, "Hold up, wasn't I trying to go to some restaurant in Youngstown? Was I a special restaurant? I mean, I worked in Youngstown for a while. Restaurants I was like nothing special." Nothing I can think of.
What's down? I don't even know what's down.
Youngstown? I mean, I'm sure I stopped there, got food when I was working, but nothing like stands out. Not Youngstown. You might have to elaborate for me. But that feeling, I think that feeling is like once you come across it or learn it, whatever, that feeling is universal. Like I remember, I had my first bout with that feeling on 90th, or when we lived on 90th. We was at Woodland Rec, and my stepbrother was just doing weird stuff, I guess, and just getting into it with people, whatever. And we was swimming. It was like summertime, and because he was like talking or messing with some dude's sister, and of course the dude was like 16. You know what I'm saying? We like 12, or I'm 12, and I just get some swimming. Like I'm actually a pretty good swimmer. Like so I'm in the deep end, kind of by myself, which is great. I kind of like it that way. I have to get a feeling like so. You got to get out every once in a while so they can test the balance. The public pools test the pH balance, whatever. I get this feeling. I just look around like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, just energy, whatever. I'm like, so they about to get back in the pool. I'm like, nah, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. I don't know what's going on. Y'all can say you want to, but I'm leaving. So they're like, well, you leaving? I'm leaving. So I think, so he ended up staying. I think me and Demeter will end up leaving or whatever. So, you got to walk over the bridge and all this stuff. And on 93rd. So I'm walking across, and all of a sudden, Mo Jr. come out, and he's like, well, I guess I'll go with y'all or whatever. Like talking all innocent and stuff. Man, we get to just as the bridge started to go up on 93rd, and some giant teenager, like I said, he had to be like 16 or 17 or something, but I was like 12, 11 or something. And he run up like, yeah, like what you had to say to my sister? And I turned around like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, who's your sister? He's like, I ain't talking to you. He's like, I'm talking to him. Like, they're like that. So I go to turn around, like, to look at this nigga is gone. He's gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gone. Full sprint. And man, this dude punched me so hard. So it punched me in my face so hard that I like did the slow motion movie fall on the fence. Like my face against the fence, slow motion. Like,
when somebody's 16 and you told her they got a grown man, like that, a grown man punching strength.
Yeah, no, I was 12. You know what I'm saying? Went down like a movie. Somebody said, Ricky! This is on the fence, like, and fall or whatever. And then I don't know, that goes to the whole story. But anyway, that 6 cent something going wrong. I don't like that part. But the Ricky on the fence was hilarious. And they said some buffet spot. I don't going to no buffet spot.
You're trying to get sick.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking. The only thing I know about Youngstown is like I don't even eat crab, but they're like Youngstown crab, or like they're like a crab buffet or something down there. But I don't even eat crab.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I'm guessing Waffle House. That's the only thing.
She said, I thought that was your idea to go there, a buffet, trying to get killed for a buffet. I don't think so. I don't remember saying that about no buffet in Youngstown. Regina said, I went to PA to do glamour photos for a crew, and our car got ripped off while we was working the 10 hours inside. They took all of our luggage, meds, our stereo system. Luckily, my guy said, take your purse. Yeah, take your purse. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So one, you kind of want to have that 6 cent feeling, so you know when danger around. But then two, that's also like to keep on subject is when you go to different places, like you just don't know. Even a visit, like on vacation, they be like, oh, stay on the resort, otherwise the Mexicans will take you. The cartel will take you, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. Like, so is it worth it?
My family don't got no money. Like, whatever ransom y'all talking about, y'all might as well kill me.
Yeah,
now.
that's it. Yeah. Call Trump. She's talking about. She's talking about Ponderosa. I think the last Ponderosa in the state is still out there.
Okay, well I can see why you want to pull up. It's nothing wrong with Ponderosa. I got fond memories of
Ponderosa. Ponderosa. That's right. That's it though. That's a go down, check your corners, eat, and then drive back. You know what I'm saying? Try not to fall asleep on the turnpike. That's all it is. But yeah, man. So I don't know if I don't know. So to wrap it all up, I guess would you? Not even would you? Because you already said you would if you did the research. You said you would, but do you think? What do you think is better though? Like, what do you think is better, or what caveats for why is better?
As far as
to move.
All right. You can move out of state, or you can move in a nice area in your own city, in the suburbs somewhere. Um, it depends on what you. If I'm okay, if I just want to go to, if I just want to go somewhere safe, I would move somewhere safe in my own city. There's no reason. But if I want sunshine, like just relaxing weather, like I'm
No.
gone. Like, there's no reason to stay here except, as what I said earlier, his family is the only con that you will have. Like, there's no other con. Like,
I'm agreeing with you. I don't know. I'm not agreeing that there's no other kinds though.
well, what other cons did you have in mind? 'Cause I can't think. I can't think of any. We could say stuff like, "Oh, the food is different," but that don't bother me. I could eat in the house.
Well,
I
not even,
know, but
not even, not
it's
even
good.
that. I just think like, so all this stuff we talking about, like crime, right? So or dangerous areas, like
Okay.
so if you move in and then you like, all right, well, like I'm moving to an area that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the unknown part of it. Like this is like smaller terms again. Like let's say you quitting the job once for another job. Like you don't like you might not love the job you at, but you're comfortable. You know how to do it inside, outside.
Right.
You get a new position. You go into this new job. Yeah, it could be better, but it's also going to be a learning curve because you don't know what you're doing because you never did this job before. It could be beneficial if it pays off, but for a while you can be like, man, I hate it here. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do a week or 2 weeks and be like, man, here's my keys, and I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Then you just stick with it. It could turn out to be something great, but in the meantime, you're like, man, like, should I go and do it, or should I take the risk? The potential for something could be better, or do I not? But also, I don't want to say stay safe, but I mean,
it's a risk involved in everything. But
that's true.
If the reward outweighs the risk, then why not? Like, I can go somewhere where stuff still happen, but I know, like, a city like Cleveland is more dangerous than other cities. Like I mean,
is it though? Like,
but you got to understand from our perspective. We know our city inside and out, and we know, like, okay, if you 9 times out of 10, if you're not going to clubs later, dangerous clubs late at night, if you're not involved in any criminal activity, then you should be good. If you don't go to Marathon on 55th at 1:00 at night, after the club. No, don't go. It's people getting robbed. That's what people, you don't know. People getting robbed just standing out there, trying to kick it.
exactly.
People getting shot. Like,
So right. So right. That's what I'm saying. So right. That's
so for the most, like, you could say, since we civilians, for the most part we cool, but still, like, other caveats that you got to worry about as far as somebody breaking in your house or trying to rob you when you just trying to live life.
It's true. But that can happen anywhere. Though.
Yeah, it can happen anywhere.
So that's what I'm saying.
But
so what's the answer?
I'm gone.
You leave.
Regardless, like, but to be honest, like, if I when my dreams come true, I'm still gonna have a spot here somewhere, like, not in Cleveland, and if it is in Cleveland, it's gonna be in I know the safe part, so.
Well, that's what I'm right. That's what I'm saying.
So
that's
I mean, if it is in Cleveland, I'll be good. Our house would be shit. We'd be good. But as far as, like,
the Bracknell,
I don't like Brandon. I want to litter.
Lakefront is safe. It's so small that it's so safe. It's like Glendale. Like, so small.
Like, I would want to live in, like, Strongsville, Westlake, like something nice as hell.
Right.
Or I could live, like, in one of these gentrified developments in Cleveland, and still a little bit of hood, but you know,
it's another show topic.
you know, I could live over there too, but you know, I know how to handle myself, and I know like you're from Cleveland. I know you got it in your mind like I'm good.
Nigga, every time somebody send me a house and be like, oh, what about this one? It's a nice size house. No, like I don't even gotta split through the pictures. No, I look at the address. Like, nah, nah, that's okay. That's okay.
Like certain parts of Cleveland you can live.
It's
Certain
like,
parts like no.
oh, it's cheap though. Like, yeah,
It's cheap for a reason. Nobody want to live there.
Exactly.
So I mean, you know.
So I don't know. I think I agree to stay open to moving. Right. I agree that opportunity should be something that you're aware of. Like moving for opportunities and stuff like that is completely different. But you're like, man, I can't do. Cleveland is dangerous, right? It's just super dangerous. People die all the time. It's all this crime. It's always on the top 10 dangerous city list, all this and that. So are these other places, man. You know what I'm saying? These other places.
Not where I'm going. Man. I'm good.
Well, maybe. They can steal your chicken and you'll be sorry though.
Like not not where you want to go. No, it's different. It's different dangers that you have to worry about, and I'm cool with that. But like I said, I have a place here and a place there, and I just switch back and forth, so I can have the best of both worlds. Still see family and friends, and still live on my dreams. So.
That's not a bad idea. They just said, I believe you should stay open to location, look at a bunch of houses. You'll know when the right one when you visit. True. Virginia said, bad area for more money or less money for average town. That's what it comes down to. That's all it comes down to.
Said more money for what?
For more money, bad area for more money.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you feel like you got good money here, you take it somewhere else, you probably going to live in a bad neighborhood. Or less money, like staying in Cleveland, but you're in the average town where you're gonna have some bad, you're gonna have some good, but it's an average town.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much all it comes down to. Emily said I can get tacos anywhere.
What about the weather though? Y'all liking this weather right now?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Weather should be a factor. Regina said
we got the worst. Like people depressed because of the weather. The most depressed town.
Yeah, but
it's gloomy.
But think about when the weather breaks though.
It's the best.
Niggas be so happy, like, man, I ain't been at the house in 4 months. Like
Cleveland is raw when the weather is good.
Yeah.
Raw.
Virginia said, like the town has nothing for over 50 miles dead. Yeah, I don't know if I want to live there. Nigga, yes. Like if I gotta drive, if I gotta drive an hour away to go to Walmart or you know what I'm saying, something like that, I'm gonna be upset. MJ said, but you take a risk with every move. That's true. Erica said, I'm not moving because of crime, because crime is everywhere. Why live in fear? Thank you, Erica. Thank you.
No, I'm not. What she said?
She said, I'm not moving because of crime, because crime is everywhere. So why live in fear?
Yeah, but like. Just think about this perspective. Crime is everywhere, but if you wanted to move, to Chicago on the south side, as opposed to Akron, which one are you gonna choose?
I'll probably go to Akron.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, crime is everywhere, but I want less crime. Like, it's a particular crime that I don't want to be around.
That's true. That's true for sure. But it's just a matter of if you go right, but like you're more familiar, even if you're not from Akron. It's kind of like you still can get Akron news like on a regular when you stay in Cleveland or whatever. It's like a small Cleveland, so. It's kind of more familiar than like niggas going ham like in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So it's more familiar. That's what I'm saying. So familiar, even though it is dangerous, but it's familiar danger. Or do you go to some place where it's just completely new? Familiar danger,
like
that's what I'm saying. Right?
You know how to move. You know how to operate in the city.
Right.
So every little caveat, like how niggas is thinking. Oh, if you do this,
you watch out for this.
You ain't gonna be safe.
When you see this, like when you see niggas start, you see we got a dude in front of you. You see a dude break off to the left, and this nigga walking like he's taking a wide angle. Prepare to be jumped. You know what I'm saying? Or to up pipe or something. Like prepare for something.
Don't go to any of the hood strip clubs just throwing money, just thinking you just having a good time.
And if you do, you better throw it all, and you better leave with your pockets turned inside out. Otherwise, you getting robbed, and then you might get shot because you don't have anything. Like that's what I'm saying. Like just familiar danger. Your mom said the same thing. Honestly, crime is everywhere. Little towns, country towns, major cities. Right. Regina said, thing is, I live close to tons of family. I feel safer near them. That's fine. That's fine too.
Hey, see, my mother was talking about, are you seeing the news lately? Crime is up in Akron. I'm leaving. She don't want to hear me say that. I'm gone. You can come visit.
That's funny.
I send you a ticket. You hop on the plane, and you can see this crime. You can see how different this crime is. That's Somebody true. Go take your bike. You cool with it.
You stole all my tickets, man. I can't believe them. Erica said a lot of things are based on fear mongering. However, I'm not living in the inner city. Right, that's not right. That's a different kind of crime. It's just different, man. Like, right, and it's right, Erica. That's the point. Like, so you wouldn't move to a certain area because you know what goes on in that area. Like, you're familiar with it. You know, like, hey, like, nigga, you want me to move to 55th and in anything negative? Like, nigga, negative.
Like, literally 50.
I remember being younger and like talking to girls and they be like, oh, I stand 105. Like 105 in what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that matters. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're on 105 in Cedar. All right. Not the best. It was right there. I'm familiar with the area. You're on 105 in St. Clair? Nah, I won't be talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I stay on 93rd. 93rd and what? And these are long streets. Like 93rd and what? Like, what are you talking about? Because I'm not coming down there. Don't even worry about it. Like at all.
Like you ever I remember I did a drive by. I'm like,
yeah, like I remember.
Like I see like a nigga like niggas was standing at this house, just a random nigga ran by my car, just talking like I don't know what the fuck he was saying. Weird. I just said, hey, I ain't able to make it. I ain't coming. Went to the west side.
That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, nigga, it'd be hammer time for real.
Yeah. And that was before the hammer. Like that was before the hammer.
Beforehand. That's what I'm saying. So imagine.
Like what the hell? You might at the same time. You might not.
No. No, because if I feel like, I definitely gotta have it. I'm like it ain't worth it.
No, you definitely might have to pull it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It ain't worth it.
Yeah. So what time? Oh,
let me finish the comments and we'll wrap it up. Erica said, you've been living in Cleveland all your life, Byron. The snow ain't nothing. You want to respond to that? She said, Erica said, you've been living in Cleveland your whole life. Shit. The snow ain't nothing, Byron.
No, the snow is something. I'm like when it was 60 degrees right before Christmas, you loved it, right? When it started snowing, did you love that? Hell no. Like I can't even go outside and like change my oil. Snow on the ground. Like how? Like I'm not going to Jiffy Lube. Like hell no. I shouldn't even say Jiffy Lube. I should have said Jiffy style. Like some.
I don't think that's a real.
Like, I don't like saying real places.
Is that real place?
Unless it's Epiphany Media Lube stop. But
Lube stop Club is something else now. That's even better because now they ain't even a real company.
What's the other one?
Some other company bought it out, but we don't got to say the name.
Epiphany.
Epiphany. That's fine.
Epiphany 1. Like we're not saying no. Yeah, they're not a sponsor. I don't know. I'm oblivious to what the names of these companies are, but you can't do. I'm out. Can't change my mind. Like I seen people that live here all their life miserable.
That's true too. I can't knock that. That's true.
I can't. No.
Can't knock that either.
But like I said, I'm still be living here too. You're just not gonna like.
Niggas gonna pop
I'm
up.
Be a ghost.
He's gonna pop up like, damn, nigga, what happened?
And I could transition right back to the hood. I have my low key car. Like, that shit ain't changed. I know how to operate.
Virginia said, I think I couldn't live in a dead town. My town is on that top 10 list, number 6 and 7, Cambridge and Zanesville. I feel comfortable here though. Right. So even though it's dangerous, like, oh, I'm not going on Smith Street because that's where all the heroin users are, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like you just know. MJ said, she said, man, I tried to move to Akron. They broke in and took everything: kitchen table, dishes, shower curtains, and hooks.
Damn.
Erica put LOL. I don't know if she's laughing at that or me, but I'm laughing at that, nigga. That's incredible. MJ said, responding to Erica, I've been here longer than him, and I'm over the snow. I always hated it as a kid. I never made a snowman. That's funny. Erica said, hood GPS button. LOL. Do
GPS
not go through.
Don't like taking you through the hood. Like, the GPS, no.
Man, I'm just saying.
It'll take you around. I'm like, why the GPS going this way? Like, we could cut through here. We'd be there fast. So
yeah, they're like,
take you up and around.
Trust me, for your safety, we'll just follow this route. MJ said, funny because I talked to dudes from 105 in St. Clair and all, but I wouldn't talk to one from Cedar. Stacy was a technicality. Whatever your comfort zone is, but I'm just saying that, especially when I was younger, no hammer, you know what I'm saying, and probably on the bus or whatever. Like, you want me to come to where? 105?
Like, I remember No Ham going to the Rainbows, going to Morris Black, going to
no, right. This is right. So for as much as we wouldn't do, like, we still made. I've crossed county lines, you know what I'm saying, to visit with women. You know what I'm saying? I've crossed county lines
at night.
Yes, nigga. Like if I came up missing, my family would have no idea. But sometimes you gotta cross. You gotta do what you gotta do. Just put the gas back in the car. Oh, Mom, I was getting you some. You just tell my mom I could say since you're here watching. I just like, oh, Mom, just no, I knew you had to get up for work, so I'm going to McDonald's to get you some breakfast for work or whatever. And then I'll be on 90, like speeding, trying to get downtown, kind of come up Carnegie. Like, no, the line's super long for some reason. I don't know why, but what you want from McDonald's? I'm right here to drive through.
I remember he was like, hey, let's go to Akron.
Akron Mission?
Pull up to the Akron Projects.
I didn't know. That time I didn't know that time. That's what I'm saying. Like, GPS is what it was. Remember the Lorain County, like that mission? Look, we made some stupid, dumb decisions, but that's all how you get to know, like Eric said, your hood GPS. And they go, okay. So I see this, I recognize this. Okay, be on your P's and Q's, and then you just go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's been a great show. Feel good to be back.
It does feel good to be back.
But remember, we got, I don't know, some people didn't check into the show till later, but we are now live for podcasts. So, anytime you can go check out our older shows, and right after the show, this will be uploaded onto all of the podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. All you got to do is search ePIFFany Media, and we'll be right there, so you can take a listen. Be sure to check out Conversations with Ebony J. She got 3 shows up. Go check them all out. Wonderful, great content. She as well will be, on a podcast very, very soon. So you can check those out. And, it's going to be a great 2020. That's all I got to say.
For sure. Do us a favor, though. We ask every time. We got to the point where I stopped asking because nobody was doing it. Go to the Facebook page and review us. Give us a review. Let us know how we're doing.
Share everything.
Share everything for us. Go to the page, and I'll put the link out there again. Y'all can leave us voice messages. Y'all can upload y'all voice messages to the podcast. If it's good, if it's bad, whatever. We just want to hear from y'all. And like I said, you say something funny or got an opinion on something we talked about today or whatever.
Even show topics.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, even show topics. Just leave us a voicemail. We'll upload it and we'll add it to the podcast. Right now, you can go to all the places you just said, to Spotify, and just search ePIFFany Media. We got a 30-second voicemail clip from B-Dot. Y'all remember we had B-Dot on sometime last year. I don't remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But we had her on the show, and
she was over here.
Yeah, she had great takes and everything, and like I said yesterday, it was only fitting because she was our first interview we ever did. When we started ePIFFany Radio, like before the media, we started ePIFFany Radio. She was the first interview we ever did, and she was the first person to leave us a voicemail on here. So definitely a big shout out to her for that. And for sure, y'all can definitely leave us messages as well for a chance to be on the show. Definitely appreciate y'all. Ebony J coming soon on the podcast side, and for all your other stuff, it was up. Leave us a message. And yeah, man, interact with the show, get involved, and that's it for us, man. Oh, just final things. I don't know if y'all consider it or not, but 67% say I might stay because it's comfortable. It's comfort. Only 33% said I'm moving, so I'm assuming that's Ebony J and nobody else.
You can add me too.
Ebony J and nobody else.
Percentage.
Okay, right. Ebony J. All right, cool.
Oh yeah, you never answered. What you doing?
I'll probably stay in, man. Stay in some level of comfort. That don't mean I won't break out, but that I wouldn't like. I don't want to move to. And look, and it's places I would like to move, like or go to, and potentially would move to, like Houston. I feel like Houston would be a good town that fits wherever me. But I couldn't be out there. Nigga, I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know what to do.
Hey, Houston get it in too.
Niggas be looking at me weird, like, what are you talking about?
Like, well, listen to your voice, like, where are you from?
Yeah,
immediately.
I'll rob this nigga because we don't know where you're from. I had to put on my MC Hammer.
Oh, you already.
Yeah. Turn on my MC Hammer. It's Hammer
Texas
time.
Too.
Oh yeah, so that just be what it is.
You good?
So yeah, man. So we appreciate y'all joining us for the first show of 2020. This is episode number 60. This is episode 1, season
50. By time we can say,
I don't know.
Podcast episode 1.
Episode 1, season. You gotta be like season 2 at least.
We could say season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah. You definitely right. I'm staying Ebony J.
Thank you.
We appreciate y'all as always. I'm gonna let him say his catchphrase first because it's kind of weak.
Birthday tomorrow. It'll be 28, so it feels great.
This nigga about to be 35. This nigga about to be Tom Brady. This nigga 45.
Out the game. They're not the game. But as always, remember to own your own.
And as always, salute to the city. We will catch y'all next week, Sunday, 5 o'clock, hopefully with no technical errors.
Hopefully. All right. We out.
We'll have errors. Don't worry about it.